Hello everyone, welcome once again. So this is part 3 video. Okay, and in last time I discussed about different types of joints. Okay, so today I am taking the lecture forward. So last time we saw that the robots are made of two parts, mainly body and arm assembly. This one, body and arm assembly, and second part is end effectors or tools. Okay, we saw that, we have seen that. Okay, so this one is complete robot. So up to this body and arm, this one is end effector. In other words, this one we can call it manipulator. Okay, in other word we can call it this part, this can be our manipulator. Okay, manipulator. So as we have seen that there are 5 types of joints. If we are using 3-axis manipulator, that is body and arm assembly. So as you know, there are 5 types of joints. Okay, 5 types, and one joint is can be made of 1 out of 5 joints. Okay, so if we are going to use 3-axis manipulator, it means 3 joints. Okay, and one joint can be made out of 5 joints. So each joints have 5 configuration. So in all we can get 125 number of combinations, and if we are using one different option, we can actually make 125 types of joint, 125 different types of robot, with all are having with different joint configuration. So that joint design variations, again the robots, there are design variations, and that affect the physical size of the joints and range of the motion of the robotic arm, or you can say manipulator. So here few configuration that is commonly used instead of, if we are using 124 3-axis manipulator. So as you know, 125, but we don't need to go for 125. Few are enough for us to do the common work or industrial work. So in that we have, over the years we have made 5 categories, that is articulated robot, polar configuration, SCARA robot, Cartesian coordinate robot, and Delta robot. We will see each one step by step. Okay, so now these are some videos links, you can watch it. I will share this PDF also, so you can directly click on it and you can watch later. Okay, so here is articulated robot. Articulated means like the human arm. See this, like this one. So this one is my body. So this one is link 0. This become, up to this becomes link 0. Okay, this becomes link 0. So from here arms start. So okay, so it is like arm, that is why it is called articulated. It means it will have 2 or more sections connected by a flexible joint. So this joint is flexible. Articulated means having 2 or more links. Okay, and joined by flexible joint. Okay, so this one is flexible, this one is also flexible, this one is also flexible in the sense this is not fixed, it can move. So this it can move again, this arm can move this way, As you know, this can be moved also. Again, here we can rotate it this way. Okay. So arm itself can feature everywhere, anywhere from 2 rotary joints up to 10 rotary joints. So minimum, there should be minimum 2 rotary joints and maximum up to 10 rotary joints. Okay, but most common articulated robots utilizes 4 to 6 axis. It means 4 to 6, and there should be minimum 2 rotary joints. Okay. Typical applications for articulated robots is, so machine 10, you see robots are utilizing 4 to 6 axis. Typical applications of articulated robots are assembly, arc welding, material handling, and machine tending and packaging operation. So this one, machine tending operation, you see machine tending is refers to automatic operations of industrial machine tools in manufacturing plant, primarily using robot automation systems. While loading and unloading is the primary function of machine tending system, often the robot performs over valuable function, while the automation systems such as part inspection, blow off, wash, deburring, sorting, packaging and gauging. So these are the applications of machine tending in robotics. Okay, so next is polar cylindrical coordinate robots. Like polar coordinate, it utilizes the polar coordinate system. So you see here link 0 and link 1 there is rotary type of joints. Again link 2 and link 3 it is having again rotary rotational type. This one telescopic joint. Okay, this one is telescopic joint. Okay, next, so whatever work analog it can achieve, like as it has polar coordinate, so it is able to achieve this one cylindrical work volume. Okay, cylindrical work envelope more precisely. So this work volume it can achieve. Okay, so this one is, if this one is minimum and maximum it can be this way. So work volume would be like this. Okay, so that's why it is called cylindrical or polar coordinate robots. Okay, next SCARA, that is called selective compliant arm for robotic assembly or selective compliance articulated robot arm. There are two ways we can classify the acronym SCARA. So it has 4 degrees of freedom. Again it has cylindrical work envelope. So there are 3 X, Y and Z. Mainly X and Y is used because Z axis is fixed. So if the height is fixed, so this robot, this link can move only in the rotational way. Okay, so this one is again used for the modern assembly, where the fast moving with the light payload. It means we cannot attach heavy load. With light payload we can use this robot. This one is particularly useful in picking and placing the parts, laser engraving, because as you know we can attach the laser tool here in place of this we can attach laser tool. Okay, and the height is fixed, so on the table part is moving, laser can engrave. Okay, again it can be used for the soldering and 3D printing also. It is faster than rest of the three and but slower than the Delta robot. Delta robot we will see in coming slides. Again this one is Cartesian coordinate robot, so it utilizes the cubical work envelope. So not exactly cubical, this type of work envelope we can use. So here you see the y-axis, x-axis and vertical is z-axis. So this along this is y, along this is x, and this on x-axis there is again z-axis. Okay, so this way xy. So this one utilizes only linear types of joints. Okay, so you can see linear and orthogonal type of joints are used. This one here you can see orthogonal joints, here orthogonal joints, again orthogonal joints, again this one link, both are normal to each other, orthogonal joints, and here we can mount the tool or end effector. So again this can be used for the picking and placing the parts, but this one is we justify only when there is you are using very large volume. That means for the mass production we can use it. So we can use it along with the CNC machines. So we can use this Cartesian coordinate robot to picking and placing the parts on the table for the operation on the CNC machine. When the operation is completed from the CNC machine, we can use it to taking away the parts from the machines. Okay, I hope it is clear to everyone. So next is Delta robot. So this one is utilizes the parallelogram, joint parallelogram. So here it has three parallelogram, 1 2 3, and along with each parallelogram there is one link, another with this link and another link. So each links are connected with the motor 1, motor 2, and this one is motor, this one is motor 3, motor 3. So this motor drives this link, that is a powered link, and then powered link drives this link, and position of the end effector is adjusted as per the command. So these three motors, servo motors, drive independently. Okay, so that's why the parts can be position of this end effector can be vary anywhere in this type of conical type of work volume or work envelope. Okay, so this one is particularly useful for food, pharmaceutical and electronic industries. So this one is robot is capable of precise movement, making it ideal for the picking and placing the type of job. So this one is very like semiconductor industry. You can see you need to like you need to sometimes solder, or you need to wiring on the semiconductors. So for that purpose you can use Delta robot, and because this one is precise and it is very easy picking and placing types of tasks. So this one again in the assembly it is very it is fastest among the all 5 robot. Okay, I hope it is clear. Next, so wrist configuration. So here you see what is the objective of wrist configuration: to orientation of the end effector. So orientation means how to, like this one is there, how to set the end effector for particular job. Suppose you are going to pick this pen, okay, so I cannot grab this pen this way, like I cannot grab this pen. So for that, again, if you have designed the robot to grab this pen, it cannot grab. So for that, it needs to be your palm, your hand need to be this way. So you have to position your hand this way. Same way it happens with the end effector of the robots also. So they need to orient their wrist so that they can pick the part, grab the part, pick the part. Okay, that's why again we need to give 2 or 3 joints in the wrist configuration, and they have generally are a rotary and twisting type of joints. We will see. So see here. Now you see this one, due to this joint, this can move up and down. This end effector. This tool is jaw is a part of end effector. Okay, so generally we call it as a end effector. So this joint allows to move the end effector up and down. So in coming slide we will see this one. We can call it as a pitch. Again, there is another joints here. Another joint vertically behind this. Okay, that allows to move the end effector in plane to horizontal plane. Okay, like this way. Okay, like this way. So it is like ER. In the coming slide we will see this is concept of ER in the wrist configuration. Okay, ER. Again, like I have discussed that this one is this moment, like this jaw is this movement is called pitch. This movement is called and then we will see this movement as a roll related to wrist configuration. So if this one is roll axis, then axis, okay, and then wrist pitch, that means this one is wrist pitch. So these are joints related to the only end effector. Okay, so we will see this in another slide. So now you can understand in this board it will move up and down here, up and down here, and up and down, it go up or down. So it is just a visual to make you understand clearly that with the moment of the board you can relate it with the movement of the wrist. Okay, so this one is if this way moving, it is again pitch. If this one is moving this way, again this is a pitch. There is no configuration that you have to mount this way. If this vertical motion is there, that means it is pitch. Okay, so you can see where is the pitch, this way along this axis. Okay, so this part it can go up, it can go down. So this one is concept of along this axis, this part, as you see here, again you see there is a kind of like this. If this is the axis of rotation, so this link can move up and down this way. So this is the concept of pitch. Okay, now roll. See this, if this one is front, so dagger is this way, so boat will go down. If one side down, then again this side down. So this is concept of roll. Okay, so you can consider is your wrist here or end effector this way. Okay, so you will see same thing. So boat will go like this, and you are moving with the boat in this direction. So where is the roll? Here. You can achieve the roll from here. Okay, you see from here, due to twisting type of joint, end effector can move this way, rotary. Okay, so if this can move rotary, so it is the concept of which? Roll. Okay, this is concept of roll, in which this end effector move like this, side by side. Okay, next, so this is your Titanic, and here you are standing, and here iceberg is there. Okay, so what will you do? You will try to take your ship this way, so you are shifting your ship, changing the direction from state of state to your right. So this is concept of yaw, and that utilizes the again rotational type joint or rotate joints. Okay, so yaw is kind of this way. In rolling, what was there? You are going this way, but in yaw it is going this way. Okay, you are not rolling here, you are not rolling here, you are rolling. Okay, but here you are going. So this is kind of yaw in the wrist configuration. Now here, how can we achieve yaw? We can achieve yaw by rotating this one. See this can rotate only up and down. If somehow from here we can rotate the wrist by 90 degree, what will happen? The up and down movement shift to the left and right movement, so it will move this way, so it becomes yaw. Okay, I hope it is clear to everyone. So typical applications, you can see what to make it. This one is the body and arm, this one is end effector. You have mounted the end effector to grab the bread slice of a bread, so you are picking it from the toaster. Okay, so you need a particular wrist configuration to grasp the slice. You need this position. Okay, this position to grab it. You cannot go and grab like this anyway. So to orient that position to wrist, we need 2 or 3 times of joints. Generally it is made of rotational and twisting type, as we have discussed earlier. Okay, again, to pour the solution inside a flask, you need to hold it particular angle. Okay, so this is concept of wrist orientation. Okay, so you are utilizing the yaw, roll and pitch here. Okay, so what is the joint notation system here? To notate the joint, robot, manipulator and wrist, we generally use, we give three joints to the robot manipulator and 2 or 3 joints to the wrist. Okay, so TLR RT, what does it mean? T for twisting, L for linear, R for rotational. For manipulator, T L R. For manipulator is, for manipulator first 3 and for wrist last 2. So we need colon to separate it from the manipulator and wrist. Okay, so first 3 is for robot manipulator and last 2 RT is for wrist. Okay, now see, T is for twisting type, R for T for twisting type, L for linear, R for rotational. Again R for rotational, T for twisting. So from that we can get, this one is example of 5-axis. Okay, 5-axis robot. Sorry, 5-axis. Okay, so common wrist joints are like TRR, TR and RT. TRR, when you are using 6-axis, then TLR, TRR. Okay, on TR and RT, as you know, rotational, twisting and rotational. So joint notification in articulated robot, articulated body and arm, TRR, and work volume partial spare, polar, TRL, twisting, rotational, and L linear. Partial spare, then SCARA, V for revolving, R for rotational, and O for orthogonal, and work volume is cylindrical. Cartesian, orthogonal, and orthogonal, and that is rectangular solid. And delta 3 rotational. Okay, delta robot 3 rotational, RRU hemispherical, RRU. Oh, wait a minute, what is the notation of RRU? RRU is unpowered. Okay, 3 powered and 3 unpowered. Like in delta robot, we have seen there was 3 servo motors and 3 servo motors or 3 linkages were there. So there would be 3 powered and 3 unpowered joints would be there, and all would be rotational type. So you see here, this one is Optimus Prime, this one partial spherical work volume for cylindrical work, polar robot, and again Cartesian, spherical, rectangular solid, SCARA robot is there, SCARA robot. So work volume is like this way, again cylindrical, It is example of kidney shaped. Okay, example of kidney shape. Okay, so this one is also example of cylindrical work volume. And here you see delta robot. So there are 3 powered and 3 unpowered. So 3 powered, you see the motors, servo motors here, 3 servo motors. These are the powered links and these are the unpowered links. Okay, so here in deflector we have mounted. Okay, so I am finishing here. We will see in next video. Okay, thank you very much. I hope you have liked this video. Okay, if you have any doubt, you can drop your comments in the comment box. Okay, you can ask directly in the group. I hope you have enjoyed this video. Thank you.